Driving Test UK, the short notice driving test specialist.
Hello, my name is Shaq. Have you recently failed a driving test? Or do you know someone who has? Many people, they come back from their driving test and they complain that the driving examiner has failed them for not checking the mirrors when they know that they have checked the mirrors throughout the driving test. Some people, they come back and they complain the examiner has said that they did not take effective observations at a junction when the person knows that they looked both right and left and the road was clear before they moved off. Now, in order to understand the secret to passing the driving test, you need to ask yourself a question. That question is, do you think it's possible for any driving examiner, no, let me rephrase that question. Do you think it's possible for any human being to sit in that passenger seat and to keep a lookout at the driver's eyes to see whether they're checking mirrors or not, whilst looking at the road ahead, checking all road signs, road markings, checking to see whether you're over the lines or not, and at the same time to be checking your feet to see whether you're putting the clutch first or the brake first? I think it's impossible, and I'm sure you think it's impossible as well. The DVSA, for one, they know it's impossible. Now, in order to pass the driving test, you need to understand what's going on in the examiner's head throughout the driving test. Now, the examiner has a tick box in his head, and he follows that tick box at every single junction, at every single hazard. The tick box is quite simple. It's only 6 things, which are mirrors, signal, position, speed, gears, and look. If you follow those 6 things, you will increase your chances of passing the driving test. Now, not just following the 6 things, they need to be followed in that precise order. Let me give you an example. You're driving along, you could be checking the mirrors all the time. The examiner is not even taking that into account. You may think that he's just glancing out the window, staring, whatever. But as soon as the examiner asks you to do something, he will look at you directly in the eyes and he will say to you, at the end of the road, I'd like you to turn right, please. He will not take his eyes off you until either he has seen that your eyes have moved and you've checked the mirrors, or that he has heard the indicator go on. If he hears the indicator go on first, then he will mark that down as a fault, because you need to check the mirrors before you indicate. In that order. The order is very, very important. So the driving examiner, he starts off by looking at your eyes whilst giving you a direction. He's confirmed that you've checked mirrors. He will then turn his attention slightly, he'll move his eyes slightly towards your hands to see whether you've indicated in the correct direction or not. So you've got the mirror and you've got the signal done. Next, the examiner will look at the road ahead. He will look at road signs, he will look at road markings, he will look at your position. That's exactly what you need to do. So when you're in your driving test, you've checked mirrors, you've signalled. Look at the position, look at the road marking ahead. Are you on a one-way road? Are you on a two-way road? What road signs do you see? Are there giveaway lines? Or is there a stop line at the end of the junction? So you've got mirror, signal, position. The driving examiner will then turn his attention to your feet. He will see whether you are braking first or whether you're putting the clutch down first. If he sees the clutch go down first, he will mark that down as a fault, because you need to get the speed down before changing gears. So you've got mirror, signal, position, speed, gears. Once the examiner has confirmed all that, he will draw his attention back to your face to see whether you're taking effective observations at the junction. The minimum observations required in order to pass the driving test is right, left, and then right again. Those 3 observations are the minimum required, minimum. If you can make more, better. So if you're in a driving test and you look right, you look left, and you pulled out without taking that final observations, that is a fault. Okay? So now you've got this information, you can follow that routine, not just at road junctions. Anytime the examiner opens his mouth, anytime you see a hazard, the hazard could be a traffic light, a zebra crossing, a vehicle pulling out, a child stepping out onto the road. You may not need to carry out all of those 6 things, but run them through your head. So for example, you see a zebra crossing, you've checked mirrors. Oh, you don't really need a signal because your brake lights act as a signal. So you got mirror, signal, your position is fine, speed. Get that speed down if there's somebody on the crossing. If there's no one on the crossing, continue. Mirror, signal, position, speed, gears, look. Once again, mirror, signal, position, speed, gears, look. If you follow that sequence, you will increase the chances of passing the driving test dramatically. Examiners, driving examiners, are human beings. It's impossible for them to be looking everywhere all the time. That's why the DVSA have got this system in place. You've got to follow the system. The driving examiner is following the system. If you follow the same system as the driving examiner, you will increase your chances of passing the driving test dramatically. If you know anyone going for a driving test, share this video with them. Subscribe to our channel, and let me wish you the very, very, very best of luck with your driving test. Thank you for watching.